Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Here, Eliseo in LA, in a June gloomy day. Oh, that's poetic. Anyway, today I'm not gonna bring you a music video. I'm gonna bring you one about frames per second, so that when we record our videos, we do the right FPS, as we call it. So let's go inside. So this is my way of explaining the FPS. The first thing I want to tell you is that our eyes don't see in frames like movies. These are the pictures that the computer is giving us to fool our brain into thinking that that image is moving. Remember, the eyes are continuous. We see light at a million frames per second, or 1,000 frames per second. We don't have frames. We don't divide it like that, okay? And there's two kinds of FPS that you need to understand. When you're filming with the camera, you can do any amount of frames here, but you got to remember that you're going to have to fit them in here. So let me just go with the basics first, and then I'll tell you how can we use different. We have 24 in the United States, 30, and 60, and 120. This is for the camera. I'm gonna explain you how you use all this. Okay, let's say that this is like a little railroad track that each frame has to fit here. The computer cannot have empty frames, and the computer cannot have too many frames. Everything, if you put 30 here, this is a 24, you're gonna have some issues. But let's go with the basics first. So you record at 24, you put it in your timeline, it's gonna go perfectly. That's a good video. When you edit, this is editing, and then there's also this edit and exporting or rendering. They should be the same. When once you have this, it's not going to change. So the whole video is going to be 24 or 30, 60, 120. Usually we use 24 or 30. You can use 60, but the most common is this one. This is what a bunch of cameras have, because some cameras don't record at 24. Okay, so we gotta get rid of some myths first. The 24, what they call cinematic, this comes from limitations that we had in our machines in the old times when the movies started, like 1800s or something, 1900s. They had to put a tape for the sound here, and the only way they could do these frames match the audio was by doing 24. So it's one of those accidents that we like how it looks, but if you look, when the camera does a panning at 24 in a movie theater, you can feel this. You can see you can feel it, because it's so slow that your eyes can see the little kind of like jumping, the frames. But we love that. We like it. It looks like we're in a movie theater, so we say 24. Oh, that's a great video. But what I want to say is that this is a myth. We could use 30, and it's going to be more like real life, more like our eyes. The faster the eyes are going to be 1,000. I'm kidding, right? This is not true, but that's what I'm trying to say, that the faster you go, the more realistic. The more here, the slower you go down to 24, it's going to be more cinematic. So let's do that. Let's put Rio this way. in Cinematic this way. Okay, the ideal is if you have a 24, you film in 24. If you have 30 in the timeline, you film at 30. If you have 60, then you do 60. So everything is going to be the same. Recording, edit, and exporting is going to be the same. If you film at 30, but you have a timeline of 24, the computer is going to have to fit 30 frames into here. And the way it computes is, okay, so I got to fit 5 times 6 equals 30. So I have 6 groups of 5. So it would be like, it has 6 groups of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The only way I can fit this into here is by erasing one. And that's why you're going to get a jump. You're going to miss, you're going to drop a frame. And that's not good. The other way is if you film at 24 and the computer has 30, well, now 4 times 6 is 24. The computer says, okay, I have 6 groups of 4, but I gotta make it 30. So how can I? Well, I'm gonna duplicate that last one. So these are gonna be the same. This equals this. And you're also gonna have choppy video. You're gonna have but this is not gonna be as bad. You can still do this and you can get away with this one. This one is, it's okay, you know, let's say, okay, this one is bad. Because you're losing a frame. This one is just adding a frame. Now, the slow motion. What we need to do is think ahead and know which scene are you going to do in slow motion, because that one you're going to have to film it at if you want a smooth slow motion. Because the mistake that I did was I filmed at 30 and then I go to the timeline and I go, well, I want this in slow motion. Not, you know, the birds are flying now, so let me get them in slow motion, and I put it half speed. Well, the computer has 30 slots and I'm giving her 15, so it's just saying, okay, well, the only way I can do this is by duplicating each frame. So it's going to take 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. So you end up with 15 F.P.S, which is not good, okay? No. This is going to be choppy. This is, well, unless you want that effect. I mean, anything can be done. You might want to have that, like the point of view of the actor if he's drunk or on drugs or something. That is going to be like, you know, it's not going to be smooth. So when you want a slow motion, you think ahead and you go, okay, let me not film this at, let me film the birds or whatever. You got to set your camera to 60 frames per second, and then the computer is gonna go, well, I have only 30, so I'm gonna ignore every other frame. But when you put it in slow motion, you're telling 50%, not 5%, 50%. So you're actually giving the computer double the room of the frame. So now this will be 1 second, and the computer is going to add another second, and you're going to have 30 plus 30, which is 60. And now we're going to have this movie that you filmed at 60. It's going to go slow, and if you want really slow motion, if you want to slow down a hummingbird or something, then you gotta have a camera that films at 120, so that when you put it here, the computer is saying, okay, I only got 30, but if you do 50% is 60, then you have to do 25% to do 120 frames per second, and the computer is going to put everything in 4 seconds. So it's going to have one and more. So that's how you use for slow motion. You think ahead, ideally. Now there's another more advanced trick, that is that you film at 30, but you're gonna put it on a 24 timeline. The computer's gonna say, okay, I cannot fit this in there. So to avoid this, to avoid this one, what you're gonna say, okay, computer, give me 80% slow motion, and then the computer's gonna go, okay, I'll put 24 here, and I'm gonna put the other 6 on the next second. So you're gonna have a slight slow motion, and that's used for music videos. What they do is they speed up the music. If 100% is the normal speed, then you're gonna do 120, and you're gonna have a little faster music. If it's a ballad that was dun, 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 that's gonna go dun, 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 and the singer is gonna sing his words to that speed. So when you come down, the lips are gonna look good, just like with the music. The lips are gonna be in sync with the music. The music is gonna be back to normal, and the video is gonna be in a little bit slow motion. That's one thing that we can use for interesting music videos. And the other confusion that I had was like, see, this is movies, right? This is TV, or even this, but depending on the station on the TV that you have, this might change. But generally, TV is at 30, movies are at 24. And I was asking myself, well, how can you see a movie from, let's say, from the 1950s, which was recorded at 24 frames per second, and you can see it on TV, and there's no problem like this, there's no dropping frames or anything. Well, what happens is with the old movies, with the film, the film movies, what they have is a machine that has a lens, has a lamp here and has a lens here, like a camera, basically. It's like a camera facing up, and these reels are rolling at a certain speed, and the movie is being recorded on this camera at 30. So that way you can see. This will be like it doesn't look like that, but look it up. It's called telecine, okay, or telecine machine. Look it up on YouTube. You'll see it. You see that machine. The movie is going from this reel to this reel, and it's being taped. So now this is going at 24, but it's being recorded at 30. So because they don't transfer every frame, they transfer the whole movie. So feel free to subscribe, and feel free to like if you like, or let me know if you don't like, so I can make it better next time. And I'll see you on the next video.